But live rock, I don't think there is such a thing as live rock. Like actually live rock, not wet rock. When's the last time you saw what you believe was real, like ocean rock in a fish store?
Oh, in a fish store? Because I was gonna say, are you talking about wild collected rock or farmed ocean rock?
I
Like,
mean, I think to me it's kind of the same, as far as the life that comes onto it. That
yeah.
used to be the big debate, right? Now it's like dry rock versus man-made rock, which are both dry. But back in the day, it was more like, all right, here's real live rock from the reef, harvested as a chunk of reef that fell down slope, versus cultured rock.
So I haven't seen it in a local fish store in a long time. I will say that my current tank was started with Tampa Bay rock.
No way.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay saltwater
And
rock.
sand.
So I guess we really haven't mentioned this, but Tampa Bay saltwater, I think they've been around for like 20 years,
Yeah.
maybe a little bit longer. Right when I started the reef aquarium hobby, they had just banned the harvest of wild Caribbean rock. And for good reason, because people were going out there with barges and just like absolutely excavating habitats from the Caribbean and from Florida waters. But then shortly thereafter, I think the mid to late 90s, there was a movement to culture rock in the ocean. So you take a form of rock and you drop it on a lease site in a particular fashion. Like I don't even know the ins and outs.
Yeah.
And I don't know, you let it sit out there for a year, 2 years, 5 years. I don't even know how long. And then you pull it out and it's got all the life on it. And that was what we called actual live rock. So Tampa Bay Saltwater's been in business for, I want to say, a good 20 years. And this year, the last couple of years, I've actually been trying to get some of their Deco rock with some, really unique, can't get anywhere else Caribbean corals like Oculina and Manacina. And they just have been kind of winding down. Then COVID hit, but they have new owners now. And it sounds like it's a pair of young sisters, Madeline and Jocelyn Lyon. And I actually spoke with them today. I've been trying to get in touch with them for a little while. It sounds like the whole family is really all about the ocean and boating, and brother's a spear fisherman, and dad loves his boat up in Tampa waters. So later this year, they're saying maybe in the fall they'll be ready to ship Tampa Bay actual live rock again.
That's awesome. That's good to hear. I'm a big believer in at least seeding your tank with some live rock. I've got nothing against dead rock, but my personal opinion is, the farmed rock that Tampa Bay has, that as a good example. Yes, you're gonna risk some pests and some algae, but I mean the benefits far outweigh the cons, in my opinion.
Well, it's totally like a double-edged sword, right? Because all of my tanks are started with dry rock, whether that's Marco rock, Carib Sea life rock, old, dead, used to be live rock, but I'm not setting up reef tanks in my mind. In my mind, I'm setting up coral showcases. It's all about the coral. I go to great length to reduce the biology, like reduce the transfer of sponges and worms. But there's something lost if that's something that you like, to have a lot of life on your rock.
Yeah.
What's being sold as live rock that's just like barely wet with like a dusting of bacteria? That's not live rock. What do you remember from actual live rock?
So my first reef tank was with wild Florida rock, not the farm stuff. And the guy, it was some number in a FAMA magazine, right? I called some live rock collector guy with a boat. He went out and grabbed it. And it was right around the time the ban was going into effect. I think I was like one of the last customers. But that stuff was pretty crazy. But I will argue that the stuff I got from Tampa Bay, the Deco rock, was just as good. I mean, I think his rock, or I guess now it belongs to I forget the names you just mentioned.
Well, it's still going to be Tampa Bay saltwater.
Yeah, But with the new owners, I mean, that rock's been in the water for so long that there's,
Shh, don't tell anybody, man. I'm trying to get some of that rock, and I don't want to rush on the Caribbean Deco rock. I want first
Sorry.
dibs. I want first dibs. There's piles of rocks. Probably some of them have been forgotten.
Yeah.
They've just been growing and growing and growing for a long time.
So I did the Fiji rock and the Marshall Islands rock back in the day too. But that stuff would sit, on those islands somewhere, drying out forever. Then it got transshipped. By the time you got it, I mean, you were really just managing a bunch of death, right? Like you were.
That's why there's so many articles on how to cure live rock.
Yeah.
Like, where did this even come from? When the rock is super fresh, it's like over a period of 1 to 2 years, like you don't know what can grow out of it. Different macroalgae, always little spats of parietes. But initially, right, pistol shrimp, mantis shrimp, small octopus, sometimes nanogobies, right?
Yep.
So like, I really hope that the current reef aquarium scene is going to be remember what it's like to set up a tank with live rock.
Well, I've been watching some YouTube, other people's YouTubes, and they're having these epiphanies or these aha moments. Like, you know what we found out, what we discovered is if you start a tank with dead rock, but you seed it with a little bit of live rock, the stability, the time to having a stable tank is vastly shortened. And I'm not trying to be a smart aleck, but I'm like, come on, man. Like, we all knew this,